Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
As we got this special edition of YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me, had to bring on my brother, man, from Morehouse, from Chicago. This dude is the collection of just an eclectic kind of cat. This is the kind of dude that you want to have on your team because he will always hit you with the, "Are you sure you want to do that?" That's my boy. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Meredith Turner. What's up, M.E.?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, man.
So
I had to come in with that Curtis Mayfield, "Give Me Your Love," bro, because
yes,
you got your own theme music when you walk in the door, bro.
Hey, man, I try. I mean, every good hero should have his own theme music.
Hey, bro, I hear you, man. Mine is "Brother's Gonna Work It Out." I walk in the door.
Hey, man, listen, that's every black man's theme right there. I'm sorry, you can't claim that. Every black man
got that one.
Is that thing. When they walk in, "Brother's Gonna Work It Out." It's in their head.
Willie Hutch,
know it
baby.
Or not. Willie Hutch is doing that one. Right, exactly. Now, that's the Mac right there. And everybody understand "Brother Gonna Work It Out." You know what I'm saying?
Brother gonna
work
it out.
You ain't trying to run me out of my business. You know what I'm saying? We can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying, John?
You I knew you was gonna come in straight with the lines, bro. So what's up, man? What's going on with you, man? I see you in that beautiful background in Chicago, bro. Where you at?
Yeah, man. I'm actually Hyde Park rooftop. We just moved over here about last November we moved over here, and this is just kind of like an added bonus to the place where we moved into. And now it's like the meditation spot, it's the movie spot, it's the writing spot. It's the place to be. I mean, Hyde Park has always been for us kind of like that hidden gem.
It's home, bro.
We know the South Side. We know the South Side, but Hyde Park was like home. That was the place of, the parties, the place of just life from a different level on the South Side in Chicago. So
you know me, man, because having lived in Regents Park, 34th floor, bro, with a lakefront view.
Yes.
You already know.
I already know. I know.
Shoot. Mm-hmm. I would come back and hang out.
Exactly. Well, I would say this. With what's going on in Chicago, and I hate to use the word lucked up, because I don't believe in luck per se. I think that the energy you put out in the universe comes to you, and if you speak it, you will receive it. And we had been living up north in Andersonville for like 5 years. And I liked the neighborhood per se because there was so much cultural diversity, meaning like a lot of immigrants and so on and so forth. But I didn't like the neighborhood because of the sense of entitlement. And when you have like that, excuse me if I say it, that colonizer mentality, a lot of those individuals are moving into that neighborhood. And when they see you, they don't think you belong with the colonizer mentality. Now, again, I don't say white people because all white people aren't the same people. But when you have that colonizer mentality, you move into a community and you look at the people who've been there as if they shouldn't be there. And that's what I started feeling up in Andersonville. And it was funny because they would speak to my daughter, but wouldn't speak to me. And I was just like, wow, that's
kind of crazy. Uh-oh. Reception slowed up a little bit, bro.
Time want to basically start like psyche and making me more like aggressive towards them. And so I was like, you know what? We need to go somewhere where there's more brown people. Go somewhere where, she sees people like her, and we can be around people that respect what I'm doing as a Black father and what we're doing as Black parents. And so, just one day I kept saying, I want to move to Hyde Park. I want to move back to Hyde Park. I need to get south. I don't want to be on North Side anymore. We've been on the North Side for,
forever,
for X many years. Exactly. Been on the North Side forever. And just one day we just happened to look up in a paper looking for a place, and it was available. And we came, we did the stuff, so on and so forth, and we got it. And then this was like the bonus. This right here was the bonus. Like, the apartment is really nice that we have, but this was the bonus. And ever since then, we just been like, this is good. This
That's
is
what's
good.
up.
Now we don't tout it. I don't be like, this is what happens when, because guess what happens? For every good thing that happens, there's something bad that equally as bad that will and can happen. And so you appreciate these moments, and then you just live in that moment and then move forward. So it's like, it's a good moment, and we appreciate everything, and we just dwelling right now. So
Can y'all see why I got this brother on the program today? He always keeps a balanced head, always got you thinking, man. That's why this is my dude. Love this brother, man. Hey, man, so if I can basically say, man, even though life is challenging, life is good right now. Life is good.
life
You're
is
not,
good.
neither one of us are in a hospital laid up,
Yes,
Uh,
yes, life is good.
although death may have hit any one of our doors, for people that we've known, for the most part, man, everybody we know and love, man, is healthy and safe. And let's be honest, man, regardless about what's going on, back there in the nation's capital or anywhere else, downtown Chicago, or as I say out here in Arizona, where they open carry,
Yeah,
bro, life is good, man. I
life,
listen, I have no problem with where we are because I see nothing but potential.
man, life is good because you make it good. I tell people all the time, I've come to a point at this age where, when I got to this stage, I had to make the most of what I had in my life for myself and for the people around me. I stopped looking at material things as being a way to grow myself, and stopped looking at who I am, looking at what I was. And the good life, as I tell people, is when you wake up in the morning, you do a systems check. You open your eyes, you yawn, you listen to things, you smell the air for what's around you. You move your arms, you move your legs, you get out of the bed, you go to the bathroom, you present. Guess what? That's a great start to your day, because all your systems are working. You're functioning as a human being. Now, whatever happens after that is par for the course, because life is fair to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Life as itself is fair. Systems are unfair. Life is fair. So once you wake up, you got everything going. Guess what? It's a good day. And sometimes you may not have everything working, but if you still wake up that day and you have a chance to move forward in your life, it's a good day. So I wake up every day, and once I do my systems check, and I check my daughter, I check my wife, and I go, you know what? It's a good day. And I move forward in my life towards my job, work, and everything else. And whatever that is becomes what it is. I don't internalize it, I don't hold on to it. But the day is a good day if you wake up and you have another chance to move forward in your existence, to change and make better in your existence. All that shit that's happening on Capitol Hill, I mean, it's part of a system. It's part of a system. The system is the system since the colonizers came to this country. So you can't change that system unless you integrate it. And you integrate it, and then you can change it. Otherwise, it's going to be what it's going to be. The colonizers on Capitol Hill, the colonizers in your state capital, wherever they are, that's part of a system. Everything we live in is a system. So you can't like live your life in anxiety by that. The one thing I realized today, I was sitting on my roof meditating. And the funny part is, when you think about how long the Buddha meditated and how much he did meditation, you realize that the idea of meditation isn't to find resolve today. It's not to find resolve tomorrow. It's to find resolve throughout your life. And if you're living every day, meditating and finding a sense of peace until you die, that's what it's going to be, because the only resolve you have at the end of the day is when you die, because no one knows what happens. So you have to be happy in your existence. You
So
find the
you
peace
take
within
in
yourself.
daily meditation.
I try to. I literally meditate on my 2 days off. Like, I'll get maybe 30, 45 to an hour, depending on where my energy is. But even during the day when I'm walking to work, moving meditate. Moving meditation It's just still breathing. It's still like concentrating on each breath. It's like letting the thoughts flow, but letting them kind of expand themselves. It's just kind of taking in the world around you, the earth, letting it, sink in through your feet, leave through your head, and so on and so forth. And that's how you moving meditate, even when you're walking. But it's a practice, and you have to practice it. But guess what? You can't practice it one day. Buddha didn't sit up on a mountain one day and go, oh, this is great. Let me do this. The next, it became cyclical. It became part of a ritual. It became part of your existence. And when you do it, you just do it so much, you learn how to absorb the energy of the universe and earth. And so you meditate when you're moving. You meditate while you're working. You meditate while you're running. You meditate while you're exercising. You can do sitting meditation. But the idea is to literally just center your being, focus, draw the energy from the earth, expel it out, and just try to find balance in your existence, your meaning.
Love it, bro. Love it. Love it. Hey, man,
Yes.
I'm just kind of curious, bro. Where did you get this as an influence for yourself, or where did this kind of thing pick up for you? When did this happen for you?
Man, it was a long road, man. It's funny how, the mindset of fall 7 times, get up 8 is so prevalent in our society, but we don't understand what the actual ideology behind falling and getting up means. Sometimes we think it means if you fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up. You fall, you stand up. Well, sometimes you fall and maybe you don't stand up. Maybe you just roll on your arms and you lift yourself up on your elbow and you sit there. Maybe that's a get up. Maybe after you get up like that, you sit up, and then you sit up, and then you sit there for a second. Then you stand up again. Now you're able to walk and move. You see what I'm saying? So there's a process. I think
You see it in stages.
Yes. Somewhere around 2008, I got released from my job in advertising. And it was really, 2008 was a trying year. 2007, 2008 was a really trying year for me mentally and physically because I wasn't in a place. I wasn't balanced. Physically, I was freaking 2%. Mentally, I was 2%. Spiritually, I was 2% of all my energy. Financially, I was 80%. So I was good financially, but the things that mattered, the energy and everything was at a lower percentage. Well, once I got fired or let go, whatever they call it, downsized, I'll say fired. I had enough time to really think about my existence. So I started exercising. And I realized I didn't like the way I looked in my clothes. So it was weird because to me right now, physical being is not of major importance. And it's not what I think about what I look, but it's like, I don't give a shit about what I look like. Honestly, I mean, I do, but it's like being healthy mattered at that point. And I knew I wasn't healthy. So it was like, start exercising. When I started exercising, I realized I felt better. And I was like, well, damn, why wasn't I doing this all along? Then I started reading more because I said to myself, you know what? My mind needs to stay sharp. Even though I did this type of career and so on and so forth, my mind wasn't sharp. And so I started reading more. Then I realized at that point, something clicked. And I was like, mind, body, spirit, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's like it all has to go together. It all has to go together. And that's when I was like, you know what? I need to balance my life, balance my existence. 2008, somewhere around 2009, I started exercising. Well, 2007, I started exercising. 2008, I picked it up, started reading more books that really built, intellect. But I also started meditating. I started reading books on spirituality, not just the Bible, not just the Quran, not just the Torah, not just the books on how to live like harmoniously through, Buddhism, but yet all the books on spirituality and understanding that as an individual, you have to be evenly yoked on all three. You can't build one without the other. And from that perspective, it made sense. It made sense. And when things start making sense to you, call it divine intervention, you call it God talking to you, you call it universal energy, call it whatever you want. It started making sense. And from that point on, it was just like, I need to stay balanced. I need to stay evenly yoked. I need to exercise regularly. I need to read often. Informational stuff that helps my mind to build. It's a muscle. I need to spiritually continue to grow, not religious, spiritually grow. So it just happened at that point, and that was that.
Man, dude. I mean, and I just appreciate you sharing that with our listeners, man, because many people probably are going through this kind of this fork in the road for themselves right now. Just trying to
Yes.
figure out what's going on and to find that place where you need to be. I know even for myself, man, it was a reset for me because I decided not to go back when schools opened up. So May 29th was my last day at the schools, and I said, no, I just can't take that risk. Love my wife a little bit too much, love my health a little bit too much, and I can now see that the state of the way schools are going right now, they're troubled. They're in a sad situation right now, and I can only imagine, what the teachers are going through, parents are going through, students are going through. But I just I had to lead and take care of my home. I've given my years of
Yes.
dedication to this and done my tour of duty. And dude, I tell you, man, the creative side of me got into this, and I started my shows like May 2nd. And so for me, this has been
Oh,
the
yes, I remember.
it's
Yeah.
been the cathartic experience, man. It's just this is where like you said to me all the time, Davis, this is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to be
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
Somewhere in this
Yes.
sphere. And so, man, I but this is scary. I'll be honest with you. Taking this journey has not been easy. It has not been anything that has is for the faint of heart. It took some conversations going on with my wife, still going on with her. We have a household to take care of. I simply say that um, you, if you don't have a great support system around you, or internally, you're not, like you said, being well read up and starting to internalize and get yourself reset, refocused, taking account of what's going on with you physically and mentally. Yeah, dude, this is not for the faint of heart, man.
Oh no, 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 man. And here's the thing. Understand that again, and I hate to say it, I say it with no trepidation. Being black is hard. It's hard, and people, you can't explain it enough to people, because if you're not there, you're not there. And being a black man is hard. It's hard, and I'm not going to say it's harder than anybody else's existence, but it's hard. And
Right.
we understand being where we're from and having that situation where for you, you're going, man, how am I going to do this? But at the end of the day, we seek challenge. We see challenges every day. It's the reason why when you go to the disenfranchised sides of the city, people aren't like, oh, COVID scared. And people are like, well, don't they get it? It's like, nah, this is just another challenge, another hurdle for us.
That's
We
it.
we had to hurdle we had to hurdle. You think about the people that had to hurdle slavery first and foremost,
Come on.
segregation,
Come on.
people that had to hurdle uh, a disproportionate amount of wealth spread around the earth, and health and everything else spread around the country, and so on and so forth. You think about that, and you realize that the challenges have always faced us, and those challenges have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. When people talk this stuff about you know over masculinity, I understand it, but I laugh, because as a black man, your father teaches you don't cry. Because guess why? When you cry, the slave master likes that. Don't
Mm-hmm.
cry. Don't let the slave master see you cry. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, they're doing it to see that you're broken. And so what happens with men is that they don't cry because they don't want to see people think they were broken. And so it's still systematic and systemic in the system. So we understand the hardship that we're faced. So the challenges that you're facing, it's definitely real. But at the end of the day, you can meet that challenge and face it, because you already understand what it was from the time you were born. You understood this challenge. And so for each time it happens, you're not like, oh, let me hang a noose around my neck. Let me jump off a building. Because guess what? It's just another challenge.
That's all it
It's
is, man.
another challenge. It's another challenge in the challenge of many challenges. It's an ongoing evolutionary kind of
Man,
cyclical thing in
we
our
could
world.
we could drink to that one, bro. You said it all, man. There it is. There it is.
That's it. Yes, sir.
mm.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, man. So, dude, let me ask you this, man. I had our brother Vince Adams on, um,
Yeah.
and he dropped some knowledge about some books and just what it meant to have that courage and that internal voice. And if you don't know where to do, how to get it, where to get it from, he recommended some great things. Today, man, you have touched upon some things about just that journey internally for yourself. What are some things that you would say to a listener right now that is trying to say, well, you know what, Meredith, I'm with you, man. It's just, where do I start? What are three things that you would suggest either by reading or something that they can start doing so that they can start on that journey?
I mean, the first and foremost, the most important thing you could do is get the fuck out of your own way.
Mm.
Bar none, just get the fuck out of your own way because you are your biggest detractor. Your ego, will force you to not or to do things that will otherwise compromise what it is that you want to do. And that was my biggest thing. I can always find a reason to do things that I want to do, but never find a reason to do things I need to do. So I'm in my own way. And
Give
that's
it,
the, I
give it,
mean,
give give a personal account about it. Break it down for somebody, man.
simply, again, exercise. Exercise. Get out of your own fucking way. I mean, I spent, the better part of my adult life overweight, technically overweight. And I mean, it goes back to when I found out that I needed to really balance my existence, when I really came to the conclusion, I should say. It was just one of those things where I had to get out of my own way. As much as I wanted to keep drinking, as much as I wanted to keep eating these bad foods, as much as I wanted to do all these things, I realized that my ego was telling me to do it because my ego was happy. And ego is always happy. Strangely enough, your ego is happy when it's destroying you. Think about it.
Mm.
People who are
Mm.
wealthy, their ego destroys them because they need more wealth. You know, people who are fat, their ego destroys them because they are freaking just unhealthy. People with vanity issues, their bodies, and they're just more, I need to exercise more. It's like this is your ego telling you that. You have to suppress ego, get the fuck out of your own way, and just do what it is that you know you need to do. There's several voices in your head, several things happening and going on in your life, and you need to realize which one better serves you and which one better serves the people around you. Are you trying to serve yourself? Are you trying to serve yourself and humanity? Are you trying to serve humanity? The situation should be about trying to help yourself and others. And so with that, once I started losing weight and I really dedicated myself to it, and I was like, get out your own fucking way. And I started doing things differently and I dropped, that 80 pounds plus of weight and I started feeling good. It changed. The same thing happened when I moved from in 2008. It's the same story. Once I got downsized, fired from the company that I was working for, I literally, in my mind, I was like, oh man, I'm making all this money. Life is good. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And when I lost it, it was just kind of what do I do now?
Hmm.
And I had to suppress my ego. I went to Trader Joe's and applied at Trader Joe's. I was making, at the time I left the agency, I was making about $80,000 a year. So I was doing pretty decent, pretty good. And at that point, I started freelancing and going to different agencies. And for people that don't know, as a black writer, there's no place in advertising for you.
Hmm.
These people don't want you there. It's the easiest job in the world. It's nothing you fucking have to do but sell people shit they don't want. But they will find a way to tell your ass that you're not the right person for this job. And then they start coding things. They start making codes like, do you know SEO? And it's like, yeah, that's not copywriting. That's site engine optimization. That has to do with more with IT, but I can do it if you need me to do it. Oh, well, we need to make sure that our team can work with you. Meanwhile, there's a team of white people, and they're a range of women and men, but guaranteed they sit in the room and go, oh, he seemed this, he seemed that. All they need is one person to go, I don't know. And then they'll be like, he can't work there. So it's a very good old boys system that they try to maintain and keep so they can make easy money. Well,
Are
anyway,
are you talking about systemic racism? Because I know, man. We have
maybe.
we have talked around this, but dude, what you were laying down are the things that I think people, if they don't clearly understand, that's a great example.
Yes,
I can feel that because I have been in situations where I have been the only black person. And then on top of that, to be the only person in leadership. And then within that, the viewpoint is like, well, we've got him. He's great. Everything is wonderful. He knows a lot. Uh-oh, he knows way too much. He knows
yes,
more than me.
yes,
He is questioning my why I'm doing certain things to try and improve something or to change the way things are going because it's not efficient or so. Wait a minute, he could end up taking my job. I gotta find something. And dude, you
and get
you
rid of his ass,
you preaching to the choir, bro. Because
man.
and here's the thing, man. I know that there's probably somebody out there saying, "Oh, y'all just blowing it out of proportion. There's something that you did that wasn't at." It's like pump your brakes.
No, yes,
If you change the skin color of who we are and keep the same paperwork that we got, man, please.
exactly. And
There,
that's the main thing, and that's
there.
that's the biggest thing right there. It's
I
when
mean,
you go into a place and you can read the people. And here's what happens with colonizers. And again, I don't use the word white people because I don't want to lump all white people
I'm
because
with you, bro.
they come from different regions of Europe, and a lot of those people are different in a lot of
Some
ways.
some of them are
Colonizers
some of them are
are
actually
colonizers.
trying to talk to their own constituency and understand why we feel the way that we do because they don't want to see their
Right.
neighborhoods burning, man.
Exactly, exactly. But that's the thing. When you call a person a colonizer, they know who they are. They know what you're talking about. But those are the individuals that don't want you. It's like, I don't want you in there. So what happens is you wake up and to kind of backtrack, you know, going into these agencies and realizing that my life in this industry might be over, I had to make a choice. And that choice was find a job. Now, mind you, it's a grocery store. It's Trader Joe's. And for me, it was a major blow to my ego. Coming from $80,000 a year, making money, doing things, you can understand, to saying I have to go work in advertising. I'm meeting celebrities. I'm going out to functions. I'm doing all these things with people. And, I got actors and actresses calling me saying, hey, Lorenzo, if you guys are working on some stuff, let me know. Hey, if you're doing this, MT, let me know. Contact me. And so they're like, I'm the first line of defense. I walk into a room as a writer and I'm a celebrity. But to go from that to I have to go work at a grocery store, man, that was like, and I woke up and realized that at the end of the day, I'm providing a service, but I'm also doing myself a justice by having a job. I'm doing something that provides food, clothing, and shelter for myself. It's the three things you need. There's three tenets to life: food, clothing, and shelter. Those are the only things that you need. Now, the quality of your clothes changes based on the money, but you only need clothes. The quality of your shelter changes. The food
Right.
quality changes, but you only need three of those things. If you can eat, clothe yourself, and have a place to sleep, then you're doing good in life. You're doing good in life. Those are the three tenets. Don't let people tell you you have to have opulence to be great. And that's where the great American dream is. And so, kind of, backpedaling again, this is where I made the decision to suppress the ego. Ego had to get the fuck out of the way. I had to basically become more like, basically, more cerebral in my existence and more ethereal to say that I was just like the universe will guide me. This is part of what has to be. And if I don't have those things, I'll be okay. And guess what? I've been okay without those things. I've been
What
okay.
What's your second thing that you would tell somebody or offer to them as advice, man? I love the first one. I like get the fuck out the way. Just
Yeah, get the fuck
don't
out your own
overthink
way.
it. Just
Yeah.
hey, I got you. What's the second thing?
Live life. Just live it. Every moment you live is a dream. Every moment you live is a dream. At the end of the day, and this could be two or three, accept and appreciate the small victories. Because if you accumulate enough small victories, guess what happens? The small victories all equal one big victory. If you can appreciate every small victory that you put together, guess what you have? One big victory. It's not the grand slam home run. Everybody doesn't hit grand slam. Everybody doesn't get, the grandest of everything. But there's always small victories in your existence. So appreciate the small victories that you get in life. The really small victories. I took my car in today to get the top put on. Well, 3 weeks ago to get the top put on. And while it was in there to get the top put on, I asked the service individual to check this ticking under my tire. I said, "There's a ticking in the tire. I don't know what it is." And he was pretty much, after he checked, it was like, "Wow, these rods are bad. This is bad. This is bad. It needs to be replaced." And I trust this guy. I've been going to him for 20 years. And I was just kind of in my mind like, "Oh man, this shit's gonna cost me." And so, being the good guy he is, he's like, "Well, these are the things that we can do to make it work," and so on and so forth. And basically, they fixed the car, fixed the top. And when I was paying today, what I said to the co-owner was, basically, had I not brought it in to get the top fixed, I would have never known that this was a problem, and it could have gotten worse. She was like, "Yes." And so I was like, "Well, thank God I spent $200 plus another 1,000,
Right.
to get it fixed before it got worse, and I had to spend $5,000. So it's finding the little victories in the things that happen. You know what I'm saying? It's a small victory. Yeah, I spent a lot of money, but I could have spent way more money.
I'm about to say, in the long run, you could have spent a lot more money,
Yeah,
dude.
I could have spent a lot more money. So
You may not be here talk. You may not be here talking to me.
Exactly.
You could have had an accident and it took you out.
Yes, exactly. So the thing is, just appreciate the small victories. Appreciate the small victories. I remember an old Chinese proverb, and I'm not going to try to quote the proverb word for word and how it goes, but it's kind of like, to paraphrase, if something good happens, appreciate it, but don't dwell in it, because guess what? Something bad can happen at that moment, which does. And don't dwell in that moment, because guess what? Something good can happen after that. If you dwell in it, you might miss the good. And so something good. So in other words, that moment is that moment, is that moment, is that moment, is that moment. Live in that moment, create small victories that lead you to bigger victories. And if you have a bigger picture, chase the bigger dream. I'm not saying don't chase the bigger picture, but while you're chasing that bigger dream, find those small victories. Find those. It's like playing Mario. The idea of Mario is to finish the game. Yeah. But your ass want to collect those coins. So you collect the coins as you go. And those small victories make you feel good until you finish the game. And you might not ever finish that fucking game, but you love collecting those coins as you go. And that's just kind of like the dynamic. It's like the small victories make you feel good also, and they help keep you driving forward in life.
Bro, that's why I love you, man. You take the essence of life and relate it straight to a video game we all know and love, Little Mario Brothers, man.
Man, that's you gotta talk to people in a language that they know. It's
Hey,
being able to cross reference shit. You can put on a suit and tie and go talk to your corporate friends. You can throw on your fucking jeans and whatever you wear and go talk to your friends that that live in a different part of town and have a different conversation.
right.
So you got to be able to traverse.
No, I feel you,
So
bro.
it's relating.
I feel you. All right, my brother. Third point, man. What's advice? What book? What something? What would you have a person do, man? Right at this point, right now, to get some traction and start making some changes, man.
That's a good question. The hard part is I don't recommend books to people because when I read books, I get different things from them. And
Hmm.
so at the end of the day, if I know you, I can recommend a book. And if I know what you like, I can recommend a reading to you. But for the most part, people may not like the same reading. People may not appreciate the same things. It becomes a matter of, I like The Alchemist. I read The Alchemist,
Hmm.
and it changed a lot of how I viewed life because it had a very um, a very philosophical story and message in it that is still also kind of rooted in Chinese philosophy.
I'm
And
looking on my
so,
shelf. Do I have Alchemist up there? No, I guess I got to get that one.
no, and a book is like this thin. It's literally this thin. It's
Wow.
that thin. It's a very thin book, but the story makes sense. And when you read stuff like that, and I think the guy's name is Paulo Correro. I can never say his name. All my friends who speak Spanish are gonna kick my ass. But you know, at the end of the day, I read that book, and it just was something about the philosophy. I like to read philosophical books because philosophical books make you think. I will say, don't read books that people tell you what to think, but read books that make you think. That's the biggest difference right there in life. Don't read books that people tell you what to think. Read books that make you think. It's like,
Okay.
don't talk to people that tell you what you should think. Talk to people that make you think. If I question you but leave it open ended, I'm making you think. If I question you and tell you should, then I'm not helping you,
I,
because what I'm doing is trying to program you. I'm not
I,
telling you, hey, here's a question. Don't answer it, but just think about it. So
right.
there's a difference.
No, I love the fact that you said that because I had mentioned before, man, that I had some people come to me and say, Dan, how do you get um, kids and parents and people intrinsically, connected to you? How do you do that? And I said, well, the one thing is that I don't ever tell you what to do. I just offer you a buffet of things that are options, and I'm just simply offering it to you. I'm your buffet.
Yeah,
And here you go. Here are good things for you to do. In my buffet, I'm not going to give you anything that I think is bad for you. In my
right.
buffet, I'm going to give you something that's good for you. You pick and choose what you want to do with it. And from that, if you got something that you read, oh brother, I see you, man. I see you. I see you.
Right.
From
Keep
something that
coming.
I've
Keep coming.
read, I, then we can talk. Case
Right.
in point, one of my favorite books. Are you making a mule, bruh?
Nah, man, this is coconut water with yuzu juice, gin, and a little limeade with
Ooh,
some blueberries on top.
you
So
are.
I,
Listen,
I don't have a name to it yet, but it's definitely, as you know, the Mad Mixer is
the
always
mad mix it.
is always on point.
Ah, man, boy, you take me back to college real quick, man. But what I was gonna say was my favorite book is the 48 Laws of Power,
Yes,
and
I have that book already.
it is not something that I often recommend to people. I tell folks about it, but I tell them and I said, listen, this is not a fast food menu.
Right.
This is a 7 course meal over 10 days. Like you got to come back to this and then come back to it again, and then come back to it again. Like this is the lifelong book that you need to keep and come back and visit again. And so one of the things because I've had people who've read it and said, "Oh, wait a minute, I got this kind of different vibe from it, like you're trying to take over the world." No, no, no. I'm not trying to have you trying to, play games over people's minds and things like that. No, I just need you to understand some of the things that are operating around you
Right.
and how you can observe and either operate in those systems or understand those things that are happening. That's simply
Exactly.
it. And that
Yeah.
I think having the knowledge is one of those things. Dude, I'm a segue into something, bro. I gotta tell folks, man, dude, you mixing drinks takes me back to senior year at Morehouse, bro. Over there on
Oh yeah.
over
Oh
there
yeah.
over there on
West
Ashby
End.
and West End,
West End.
the gray house on the corner, which probably
Gray
isn't
house
there
on the
anymore.
corner. It ain't.
Basement apartment,
Yes.
and bro, I think I had a bottle of Martell, something else just sitting on my shelf, man, and like always had something in the refrigerator. Either
Right.
some Boone's Farm or whatever it was, man. I always had something in the fridge. Man, dude, you would come over there. Hey, man, we about to mix something up, man. Let me mix something up for you, man. And when you started doing that in the cup, I was like, oh my god, you took me back, bro. Hey, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
tell me about this, man. Hey, tell me about what you have your takeaway from being at Morehouse, man. Maybe observations that you have of yourself or me or others or something like that, man. Just you know, just break it down, man. Let's have some fun, man.
And what do you mean by observations? You have to give me a
Just
a thermoglass. Thermoglass.
these are Meredith observations. I hear you. Mm.
Hmm.
Ah,
Now,
these are,
regards to what?
man, dude, what it was like, life was like, just fun, partying, craziness, just whatever, man.
Right, what happened?
As you already seen, I put on YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me my story. I talked about it, but you were there, bro.
Yep. I
You
was.
saw me go through a transformation. One of our good friends, Patrick Barley, man. I'm gonna have him soon on the show. He said to me, man, something that really, he was like, dude, you have to understand. He said to me, he said, Dan, you broke the mold because that truth about look to your left, look to your right, and one of y'all ain't gonna be there. He said, dude,
Oh, dude,
that was you, but you were like determined to come back and
that
to
was
make
me.
it back. And so,
Yeah,
hey, dude, to find that and claw my way back in and snatch and get my papers. I mean, brother, you were there.
yeah,
May
I was.
22nd, 1994,
I was.
bruh.
Yes, yes, I was there.
You
I was
know?
there. I never forget, man. It was, I think the experience of what it was what it was. But I tell people all the time, man, I got accepted to Pepperdine. I got accepted to USC. Even USC would like a conditional practice squad freaking football scholarship. So, I mean, it wasn't a real thing, but it was just like basically, if you come, you can try out for the practice squad, blah, 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 which was like good. But I ended up going to Morehouse because at the recommendation of my uncle and my aunt, my uncle was on the board of trustees at Meharry. He loved HBCUs and so on and so forth. So I ended up at Morehouse. And I would tell people I didn't regret one moment because for everything that I am right now, it's Morehouse. For all the friends, for all the camaraderies, I can't imagine that I would have made the same friends at Pepperdine. I can't imagine that I would have made the same friends at USC. I can't imagine I would have made the same friends at the school in Iowa, Mount Vernon, Iowa. I forgot the name of it. But I can't imagine I would have made the same friends. For all the people that we have, you think about even in our circles, me, you, Sebastian, Marcus, Josana, those people. You think about the Rich Kerrs, the Chip Davises, the Carloses, the Phil, Kens, Jasons, all of these people that we met, that we're still connected with. Not
Yeah.
just met. You're talking 30 years later. People that you didn't know when you went out at 30 plus years, motherfuckers that you didn't even know in Chicago, never heard of in Chicago, now are still good friends. And when you see people, you're like, oh man, I know you. And that right there, like literally, that sums up my experience at Morehouse. I mean, you can get an education anywhere. Let's be
True.
honest. A degree, biology degree is a biology degree. The body is the same no matter where you go. You can learn about the body at Harvard. You can learn about the body at Morehouse. The body ain't gonna change. A finger is gonna be a finger. The muscles are gonna be the muscles. It's gonna be the same no matter where you learn at. No matter where you learn. And if you know it, you know it. It doesn't matter. Numbers are gonna be numbers no matter where you learn. The number is still gonna be the number no matter where you learn them. You know what I'm saying? But the camaraderie, the social aspect, the character that you build is probably like the greatest thing that you can take. I see people walking around in the city with their Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio. I shouldn't knock on those schools, but the major division colleges, apparel, and then you wonder how many friends do you have from that school? What did you take from that school besides an education? Was there anything that you got educated in that wasn't taught in the class? And Morehouse taught you more than just in the class. It
Right.
taught you outside the class. I mean, dude, my greatest moment, one of my greatest moments, was turning on the TV and seeing fucking Eddie Glaude on fucking CNN. And I saw Eddie Glaude. I was like, oh, fucking that's Eddie Glaude. Dig it or leave it alone. Eddie Glaude. And it was like that moment in my mind. I was like, when I was a freshman, I went in. This dude was a revolutionary. He was like, he was a young dude, but he was like, dig it, leave it alone, brothers. And to see him on TV still fighting that fight.
still
Those
fighting,
are the
man.
things that you remember. You go, oh man. To think about Mukasa,
Oh my God.
In the fucking in the lunchroom.
Oh,
Uhuru, Uhuru,
Uhuru, Asasa.
Uhuru, Sasa. You know, he's like channeling the Zulu spirits of the
Yes.
black men in there. And you just never really thought about it until when you leave. You be like, I see it. I get it. And it's really empowering black men to be strong and making us understand that the fight is a long fight, but we have to fight it. And it's not, again, education is education, man. Education is education, no matter where you get it. And they're going to make you, the colonizers will make you think that if you got it from here, it's better. And it's like, no, motherfucker, it's the same education. Literally, a light bulb is a light bulb. It's a fucking light bulb. If you learn how to make it, if I learn how to make a light bulb in my fucking backyard and I can make a light bulb just as good, what makes this person any different? Besides the fact they spend more money making a light bulb than I figured out in my fucking backyard.
Hey.
Nothing. Besides the fact that you want to give them credit for it because you want them to be better than me because you've set a standard for them. So Morehouse, for me, was an experience. It was an experience from the units, which nobody talks about because units don't exist anymore. Units were old what military barracks, old military barracks that they left up, and that's where we slept. That's how we lived. That's how we
Bro,
grind. Being from Chicago, that shit wasn't no thing to me. I was just like, whatever.
it
We're
was
gonna make it.
funny. It was funny, man. And then talking and helping people understand the units. The units were 5 buildings that were, residential dorms, but they were pretty much they weren't in the best condition. When we got there in '87, they were still up, and I forgot who had that room on the second floor that had a hole in the floor. I don't know if that.
Oh yes, yes.
And
I can't
we
remember.
brothers used to pass stuff back and forth through the hole in the floor,
A
like
hole in the floor.
literally. Hey man, throw me up a beer. All right, here you go. Hey man, throw me down a pillow. All right, here you go.
Here you go.
You
Yes, I
know,
forgot all about the hole in the
yeah,
floor.
man. I think and then it was the Fair Street housing with the brothers on football. That was
Yes.
kind of like crazy, man. So it's like
No, it was projects. Both of them were projects.
but
We lived in projects.
here's the thing. It didn't matter what our surroundings were. It was the brotherhood
Yes.
that made the whole experience. I don't think anybody could clearly understand just imagining an entire campus unified together and being together, supporting each other no matter what. That
Yes.
we're not talking about at a football game or anything. We talking about just
Nope.
straight up.
Dude.
We're here for you. Let's make
Dude.
this
Let
thing
me.
happen.
If I can interrupt you for a minute. I remember the first day coming down there. Now I couldn't. My parents couldn't take me because my dad was working and my mom, she's a police officer, so she couldn't take off at the time when I left. So they
Okay.
were working, and so they basically got me on the plane with my trunk and all my luggage, and said, when you get down there, you take a cab, blah blah blah. So I got down and literally by myself. I'm standing at the airport and the guy's at the cab. He's like, "Where you going?" I was like, "Morehouse College." He was like, "All right, you jump in here. It's $13." Perfect. Put my shit in there. Got to the campus. And matter of fact, it was Eddie Glaude at the front. It's like, brother, all right, my brother, where you going? I was like, it says here, Unit 3. He's like, all right, you take him up the campus. He goes to Unit 3, blah, blah, blah. Took it up there. I got up there. A bunch of cats up there was like, all right, where you going? Unit 3. And they helped me take my shit into the units from the cab, directed and left. And then I was just like, this is fucking amazing. This is amazing. Now, granted, I went to my high school was all black. It was Mendel, even though it was a Catholic, it was the one of the only all black Catholic schools in the city of Chicago. But going down there and seeing this operation and how they operated. No, when I got up to the top of the hill, Jeff Riddle, that's who helped me get in.
Jeff
So
Riddle.
Jeff Riddle, he's from Chicago, my boy, Jeff Riddle. So I never forget, like it was Eddie Glaude at the front, I think, and Jeff Riddle was like, where they going? All right, help them take his stuff in the house and into his dorm, blah, blah, blah. And after that, it was just like, I got in, I walked out, I was just like in a daze because I'd never seen so many beautiful black men just kind of helping each other and living and existing and growing and nurturing. And it was just like, black men to their point, not to our point, but to their point, black men didn't nurture. Now, my
Right.
dad was a nurturer in essence, but to them, they didn't think that black men nurtured. When I got to that campus and I saw black men nurturing other black men, saying, "Let me help you. What do you need?" I was just like, man, I ain't never leaving this school. I ain't never leaving. I ain't ever leaving this school. This is what we need. This is how we need it, and this is why we have to support the HBCUs. This is why we have to give money back. This is why we have to do what we have to do because, if not the colonizers, the people will have us believing that all black people are terrible, that they all ain't doing nothing, and they all X, Y, and Z, and so on and so forth. But we have to continue to push forward in our agenda to promote and to grow.
Uh-oh. Slow down a little bit. And I love internet because it'll slow down and then it'll come right back. Oh man. Folks, I think the wonderful thing about it is that um, no matter what your experiences
You
are.
have too much, brother. They be like,
Uh-oh.
nigga, I love seeing. What happened?
Your internet went out. I missed a little bit of what you had said.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. It was a bunch of extra shit, so don't worry about it.
Hey, so let me ask you this. So after leaving Morehouse, um, I was in California, Northern Cal. I was in Lake Forest, then got to
Yep.
DC, and then I was at grad school at Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And being a Morehouse man on Howard University's campus, the real HU, it was great, man, because it was like it was going from Mecca to Mecca, man. And so here's something that I'm observing. So the sister from California, Miss Kamala Harris, man, is an HU grad, bruh.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is going to be the impact now? Because when everybody talks about where they went to school, right?
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
Howard University graduate, man. What
Yeah.
do you think? And that's right in DC. That's like right down the street, man. How are you feeling about that, man? That's going to shine some more light on the HBCUs.
Man, how do I feel about what, man? Because now you reaching into another part of
I'm,
my
I'm, I'm, I'm taking you. I'm taking you there, bro. Come on.
well, you don't want to take me there, man. Sometimes maybe your listeners don't want to hear all the truths because some
Hey,
truths
man.
aren't the truth. But
The
what are
show,
you asking me?
the
Tell
show
me,
is
tell me what you're
called. The
asking me.
show is called "You Too Near Me Not to Hear Me."
I know, but tell me what you're
We
asking
have
me.
a we have a we have a woman who's now going to be the vice presidential candidate, first black woman
Tell me what
ever.
tell me what you want me to say. I mean, not what you want me to say. Tell me what you're
What
asking me.
what what are your
You're asking me
thoughts? What are
exactly
your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that?
about what?
About her being the candidate for vice president? I'll tell you my thoughts.
No, I mean, no. You don't have
I
to tell me your
I
thoughts.
I
You
I've
don't have to
heard.
tell me your thoughts. You don't have
I
to tell me your thoughts. If you ask me my thoughts, I'm going to give you my thoughts.
Okay, bro, break
My
it down.
thoughts, my thoughts is simply it's bullshit, and it's not that she's bullshit. It's that they're trying to fucking gain ground. They're trying to gain more ground. At the
Hmm.
end of the day, at the end of the day, because she was running for presidential, she was running for candidate. She was a candidate for presidency.
She was my
She was
choice for
running.
candidate for presidency. She was
She
my
was running
choice.
for, and she dropped out. Well, why did she drop out? Did they ask her to drop out so that they could basically get Biden and bring her back in, or did she drop out on her own? There's with politics. There's a lot of, and there's never gray area. I don't want to say gray because politics is not colorful. That shit is just all muddled bullshit. It's a muddled bullshit. It's like politics is like bad gumbo. Have you ever eaten bad gumbo before? That shit's
Yeah.
terrible. It's not good. When somebody makes some gumbo and it's like too oily or it's too much roux or too much of something
Or
and not enough of it.
dry.
Yes, dry. That's what the fucking politics is. It's fucking bad gumbo. And you don't eat it. I don't eat bad gumbo. I don't eat politics because I understand what the fuck it is and what they're doing at the end of the day. These motherfuckers, as much as people love Joe Biden, because he's the the most likely candidate to upseat the incumbent right now, whatever you want to call him. I think that they understood that in order to get votes, we have to put a person in place. And I'm not saying she's not qualified, but at the end of the day, I saw it for what it was. And I see politics for what it is, which is bullshit. It's all bullshit. And it's all, again, I go to Malcolm X that said, basically, be careful of the liberal whites. The liberal whites do more damage than the fucking conservatives. And you can see it happening every day. In our existence, we've had liberal presidents in place, and nothing has literally changed for black people in general. Now, you might have a few people that go, well, I got a better job and I got this, but generally black people are still being preyed upon by a system. They're still being gentrified out of neighborhoods. They're still being kicked in the fucking ass and thrown into jail for slave systems that are privatized. So how does having a black president, a black vice president change that system if they're not changing that system? So what it boils down to is, we're going to play your game at your level. Donald Trump has all the white male votes. Like, I mean, at least the colonizers. He's got all the white women votes, at least the colonizer. He's got some black people that understand or think or whatever. So we have to play the game on the level. So we're going to put a black woman as vice president. And again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying she's not qualified, but qualified to do exactly what? Like, let's be honest. What the fuck is Mike Pence doing?
Well, supposedly he's supposed to be handling this whole COVID situation and heading things up.
Right. I mean, a question. What the fuck did Joe Biden do as vice president? It's figurehead. And so we're putting a face in front of fucking America so that we know that what's going to happen is 99.9% of black voters are going to vote for me. We already had a huge black contingency voting. Now we need the rest of them to vote for us. So let's put her up in front of us. And at the end of the day, I don't trust any politician. Like I just said, the whole idea behind being a liberal has not helped disenfranchise black people one bit, regardless of who your president was, who your mayor was, your governor is. It doesn't work in disenfranchised neighborhoods. It's still been, I mean, fucking wasn't Mayor Daley a Democrat per se?
Which one?
Look at Chicago. Well, the second one.
Okay.
Well, not the first one, the son. And look at Chicago. People say, oh, Chicago's great. But motherfuckers are being disenfranchised, being gentrified out of neighborhoods.
It's still the most segregated city in the country, man.
Still the most segregated fucking city. Explain that to me. How are you the most segregated city with a liberal governor, liberal mayor? You got liberal, all these aldermen and shit.
Senators, House of Reps, yes, the whole nine.
Yes, but still the most segregated city in the country. Explain that to me. So
yeah.
You're going to tell me that by putting a black female as a vice president to this liberal white guy is going to change? Again, this is just me. It's my opinion. I don't want nobody.
I feel you.
I don't want anybody to assume that I'm knocking her or that I'm knocking him.
Okay.
I'm still going to vote. I'm still going to vote. And I'm still going to vote for Joe Biden, whatever the fuck his name is. Because at the end of the day, as we like to say as people, the lesser of two evils.
Right.
I don't want gonorrhea. I don't want chlamydia.
Hold on one second. I can hear you. Hold on. Let me let my dog out, man.
I don't want either. But if I got to pick one, well, which one burns the less? And that's the stupid shit when they be like, the lesser of two evils. I was like, I don't want either evil.
Hey,
I don't want an evil.
Let me ask you this:
to be fucking gone.
Do you remember when Clinton came to campus when we were at school?
Vaguely,
you remember that?
Vaguely.
Came and spoke to us on Thursday at convocation. I'll never forget it, bro.
Yes, I do. I remember. I remember now.
And the same thing I thought about then, the same thing I think about now. We are in a situation where we are thinking about the lesser of two evils. It's the evils that we don't know. I mean, and don't get me wrong, having as a political science major, pre-law,
Yes, you
from
were.
Morehouse, man. And listen,
Yes,
I always tell people, I said, listen, the things that you really need to focus on are your local elections.
yes,
You
indeed,
need
all
to
day.
start thinking about who's putting judges in their seats,
Dude,
sheriffs,
main thing. Yes,
district attorneys,
yes,
secretary of states,
yes,
governors, mayors. I mean, because wherever your bricks are being laid, your aldermen, I mean, this is where your stuff is really hit. The rubber hits the road. I'm not trying to say, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, especially in Chicago, that you know that you shouldn't pay attention to national elections and don't vote. No, you need to exercise your civic responsibilities and vote. Don't let anybody take that away from you.
yes,
But you need to know who these local people are. You're not simply, filling in the bubble for somebody who you think has got a nice name. It's like
exactly, exactly.
sometimes, and I don't mean to say this as a negative comment to women who pick football teams because they got cute uniforms.
Dude, yes. I love the Seahawks. Their uniforms are so cute. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you pick them because their uniforms are cute? What difference
So
does that make?
Russell
Dude,
Wilson is a cute guy. He like
yes, he's cute. I like his hair. Man, I swear to God, I've been saying that for the
so
last decade or so.
so
Anyway,
so so my thought behind that is simply this. I said you need to be a more informed citizen by finding out who these and this means that you got to do some work. Don't be a lazy person. Don't be sheep. Don't be led by what you see on a video or heard on a Facebook chatter. You got to go out and start doing some information, and
but
you need to take responsibility for that for yourself, and not
can I,
just say, "Well, somebody else will take care of that." No,
can I cut you
you
off
got
for a
to.
second?
Yes, sir.
Can I
Go
cut
ahead.
you
Go
off?
ahead.
Can I cut you off? I think that what's lost now is grassroots. And I think that as individuals, we need to go out and let these people know. We need to develop a system to let the people know who these individuals are. Now, at the end of the day, how do I know if I'm an older person or maybe I'm not as savvy in politics as most people are? But how do I find that information out? There needs to be a system for people to find this information out. And maybe we get this information to them about their judges. At the end of the day, and again, I'm not knocking anybody, but as a black man, I'm scared of white women judges. I'm scared of white women judges. I've
Hmm.
been in front of enough of them to know that
Mm.
their point is probably not going to be in my favor. I'm scared of white women district attorneys because I've been in front of enough white women prosecutors to know that when I step in front of one of them, they're just going to be like, I don't care. And so it's a difficult situation when you have a black man and you have to face judges, DAs, and you're part of this system because this system of slave trade in the prisons is real, and these people are running it because this is the way it's set up. And
They're getting a
so
kickback from it.
so right, and they're getting a kickback. So I think it's important to find a way, grassroots. And to my other point, the sad part about how we elect officials now is based on how much money they've made in campaigns. That is the sickest shit ever. Whatever happened to voting for a motherfucker based on their grassroots initiatives, based on what they've done in communities around their country, around their cities, around their governments. Now what happens is we vote on the one motherfucker that's thrown in front of us, that's thrust in front of us, literally thrusted in front of us. They go, hey, here's a politician, and we want you to vote for him. We go, well, do I pick A or B? But you don't know shit about him. But when you find out about him, you realize there's no grassroots initiative. They've done nothing within their communities. They're fucking pieces of shit, a lot of them, not all of them. But so you have to make a decision. And so we say, go vote. And here's what honest people know. Honest people know that if I have to choose between the lesser of two evils, I'm gonna choose neither. And this is why we're like vote, 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 but they're like
For
they're both
what?
fucking evil. They're both fucking evil. Black people know that they're gonna get shit on regardless. This is why Hillary Clinton lost. People can say, well, these many black people didn't vote. You know why black people didn't vote? Because they already knew that the shit was gonna still roll downhill. Disenfranchised black people, shit still rolls fucking downhill. Poor ass people voted for Donald Trump because they thought that Donald Trump was going to help their dumb asses out. They thought he was going to bring some factories and some stupid shit back to their community. He's going
Coal.
to bring factories, coal. It's like, Nigga, fossil fuel is dead. What part of that? And so that's why they voted for him.
I'm
Now
just
they can
kind
vote for him
I'm
if
just
they
kind of
want.
curious.
Come on.
Has any coal plants or mines opened
Open?
back up? Has
Nigga,
coal?
no. No, ain't no such thing. Them motherfuckers in Virginia still goddamn fighting for goddamn heat and coal and everything else. There's nothing in fucking Virginia. There's nothing in Tennessee. This motherfucker ain't opened a plant. Maybe in fucking Indianapolis or something. But that's the problem. Again, we vote for shit based on what we think we know, but we don't know. And so we need to be more understanding of what this system is, what the system is telling you. And what people don't realize, again, the liberals aren't your friend. I'm not saying that you vote for the Republican, but these motherfuckers, for at least for the disenfranchised blacks, ain't did nothing for them either. How many poor black people got a job over the last 15 years? Poor black people, a real job. I'm not
Not
talking about a job where they can go in and be like,
a career.
right, a real career job. Remember
So,
remember 50 years ago or so, maybe, when they had like manufacturing companies and you can go in and you can work that job for 30 years
and them jobs are
doing
out.
manufacturing.
Them jobs are over.
Yes, thank you. There's no more of those jobs. So what are these people bringing? What are your Democrats bringing? What are your Republicans bringing to the table to help the people? And neither one of them are bringing shit. You know why? Because the industry that led America, that built America, is dead. And so they don't understand that the other countries are growing it. So right now it's basically, let's play the race card. Let's play the odds against the ends, because these people are not smart and savvy enough to understand what we're doing. We're getting in a position to make our money so that when I'm done, I can do a fucking book deal, go play golf, make all my money, and then say the fuck with you people. Because I'm not trying to really build an industry, because there's no industry to build, because we're fucked right now. And that's just my opinion. It might be
Meredith,
wrong, but it's my
no,
opinion.
hey, bro, I can respect your opinion. I understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna throw something at you. So
Yeah.
I've been saying this on a couple of shows. You still there? Your video dropped out.
I'm
Okay, you're
here.
back now.
I'm right here.
So I've been saying this on a couple of shows. I was approached by somebody who, I wouldn't call him a colonizer. I would call him an honest white person who really just,
Yes, thank
who wanted to know, like, what do you,
you. Yeah.
what if somebody came to you, what would you want? And I was about to, and this was at the time of now this George Floyd thing, all the protests, all this kind of stuff, and it was at the height of it, and the pandemic is still going on, and George Floyd, this protest is still going on.
Protest. Yes.
So here's what I said. I paused for one brief moment, and I was about to say, "Oh, I want equal rights, and I want to be able to vote. I want people to have blah." And I was like, "Wait a minute! It is 2020.
I lost you. Hold on.
You there?
Hold on.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm there.
okay,
There you go.
all right." So I'm like, "It's 2020. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? I got a little bit of delay in there. Okay. You still with me, Meredith?
Yeah. You still Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I can hear you, but it's kind of going in and out. The headphones were good.
Well, they died, so we good.
Okay. Well, because there's like a little bit of a delay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying basically was this, as I'm hearing myself repeat it. I don't want to ask for all these things that we've already fought for. What I want is $1 million for every black person alive today. We make up 13% of the population. That means that's 40 million people, give or take. That means if you give $1 million to each, my math is correct, that's $40 trillion. And if you think about it, 40 acres to the mule, put it up to today's kind of situation,
Yes.
that's about 400 trillion plus.
Yeah, that is.
I'm
Agreed.
not I'm not asking for 400 trillion. I want 40 trillion. I want every African American person, every black person, kid, woman, child, mama, daddy, grandmama, everybody who's alive, they get the check. No taxes taken out. On top of that, I want all consumer debt gone, all loans gone, all any tax debts gone. I want everything to be completely zero, so that when we start out, everybody's on an equal playing field. And don't raise the price of milk and bread up to $15.
Right. Yeah.
Now, some people have looked at that and said, "Okay, Dan, I feel what you're saying." Others are like, "I don't know."
I don't know.
What are your thoughts, man? Am I crazy, man? Am I?
Here's the thing, Dan. You're not crazy. I think that you're real, but I think that you have to think bigger. Think bigger. The bigger picture. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Because at the end of the day, the money doesn't move. What runs this country is old money. So you can take all your new money, you can make millionaires, but you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna spend it all. Just like everybody got their stimulus.
And I'm glad, and Meredith, I'm glad that you said that, because I do clearly understand there's the Dave Chappelle effect. There's going to be a bunch of Bammers out there who are going to get box trucks of cigarettes and talk about, I'm rich. Wah, wah. I get it.
Let me finish. I want the Constitution torn up. Person sitting at the table.
You break it up a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me now? What about now?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me good?
It's a little better. You must have the wind blowing or something.
Can you hear me now?
It is. I can hear you now. It is the Windy City.
Headphones died, and so I had to like.
Okay.
So can you hear me?
It's kind of going in and out.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna say, can you hear me? How do I sound now?
You sound fine. And no sooner than I said he sounds fine, he goes out. You're about to break down something really good. That's why the sound is going out.
Situation was. What about now? Can you hear me? How do I?
I can hear you. Go ahead, bro.
And was Constitution. You write it with all the people around, the people who are existing in this country. You rewrite the Constitution.
Yeah.
Let me do old school. I'm going old school. So forgive me for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go old school so we can make this happen.
Okay, no problem, bro. I'm still here with you, man. No worries. No, I love it, because I think the challenge of all of this is that I want to see an economic resurgence that helps people understand that when you put families together and try and have a path forward, forward, that it shouldn't be this thing like it's the NBA draft and the young kid is now is an NBA star, and he's going, and what's the first thing you're going to buy? What's the first thing you're going to do? I'm going to buy my mama a house. I want that to stop. So that's why I said I want $1 million for every single person so that Meredith, you got $1 million, I got $1 million, my wife got $1 million,
Right.
your kid got $1 million, your wife, your mama, everybody, everybody got one. So it's like there's no excuse now, and on top of that, all your bills are wiped completely zero. So there's no thing about, oh, I got to pay off the house or pay off the, no, all that completely wiped out. They can afford it, man. Don't think that they can't do it. And then we start to think about, okay, Meredith, what is it that we want to do? All right, so I want to create a run and shoot for Phoenix, and I want to recreate that same kind of atmosphere. So because I see there's a need for an air conditioned place for young kids to go play ball at a cheap price, and they get this opportunity to run ball for 24/7 like we used to do when we were back in school. We used to love going to run and shoot. I love that concept. The other thing I think about it is, I'd like to see, groups get together and start investing. Invest into some of these companies
Right. Yeah.
oh, you sound good, man. Like, I want you to invest in a Tesla.
Okay. There you.
I want you to invest into,
Right.
gold. I want you to invest into these certain things that are happening around us, so that you're on
Silver.
so that you're on the stun guns, video cameras for police. I need you
Right.
to invest into these companies that are making these things, because this is what's going on. So,
Here's what I want to say. What I was trying to say. This is what I was literally trying to say.
okay,
My thought process is first things first is you rip up the Constitution and you rewrite it with all the people available who are indigenous in this country. That's what you start with. So you have to basically start over from scratch with this country. And I know people will go, oh, well, you can't do that. But at the end of the day, you have to. It's the only way to make this country right, number one. Second thing you do is don't give people money. You give them ownership. And so,
yeah, man, you said a lot of good stuff. You going in and out. I'm sorry, bro.
can you hear me now?
I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me
now.
now?
Yeah,
Okay. So what I was saying was my main thing was basically just tear up the Constitution
I got that part.
and start over from scratch.
I got that.
You got that part? Okay, good. Now, the second part was give them land. You give
Give
them
them
their 40
land.
acres and a mule. 40 acres, you don't give them money. You give them land. There's so much land in this country that people can and will use. And at that point, if people know how to farm, if they know how to build, if they know how to do things, they can grow their own. This is why fucking Black Wall Street was torched and destroyed, because they had land. It had nothing to do with the money. It was the land, and they were building a fucking mecca on their own in this country. They didn't want you to have that land. If we destroy it, we destroy the property. Somebody else comes in and buy it because you're not going to be able to afford the reconstruction of it. Then it's good. It had nothing to do with the money per se. It was more the land. If we destroy that land and that property, and you don't own it, don't have it, then what? You give us tax-free land. I don't want to pay taxes on this land because guess what? Black people have paid taxes forever. It goes back to my thought of why, as individuals, why do we, and this is no disrespect on the veterans, why do you rely on the citizens to pay military veterans money? Shouldn't they be tax-free regardless? Shouldn't their
Mm,
lives be easier? They put the
mm.
they here's the thing. They fought for whatever democracy is. Democracy for disenfranchised people ain't shit. If you poor and living in a goddamn poor-ass community, that democracy don't mean shit. But they pay for your house, your senator. They pay for your second wife, you're a fucking congressman. They pay for all of your fucking vacations, you're a governor. So shouldn't you say to them, go and say, hey, these military individuals, these military vets shouldn't have to pay taxes. They shouldn't have to pay shit. But
They've
instead of
served.
doing that, it's right, they've served their country. They didn't serve us. They didn't serve the citizens. They served the country. So why are we being force-fed like shows that go, pay the veterans. The veterans need help. Veterans Administration. It's like, that seems kind of weird to me that you're going to lean on the people for this money when you should just be paying them because they fought for your fucking life too. but you're not going to give them tax breaks or anything else. So it goes to that dynamic where it says, basically, if you're going to give black people anything, give us land. Give us our 40 acres and a mule. And if you want to throw some money in, fine. But at the end of the day, 40 acres and a mule. And if that motherfucker wants to sell his land, that land right there could be worth $1 million. It could be worth $250 million. Give them the space to grow. Give us the opportunity to build and grow our own shit and make a foothold in this country. Don't make us still slaves by giving us a bunch of money and going, now go spend it back into a system that's still a systematic racist country.
Hey, brother, I hear where you're going with that and saying. I thought about that at the time. Here's the thing I believe becomes the controversy behind that. That land is, there's no land that's not owned. Land is owned. That means that somebody's got to either give up ownership in order for that to be provided. With the case of taking in the ideal of it being $1 million per black person who's alive today, now that person has an opportunity, tax-free, bills wiped, everything zero. They now have an opportunity to forge together and do the kinds of things. They can go purchase land. I know that the fear in me says, oh my God, it's going to be Nike stock will go out the roof because everybody going to be rocking Jordans. Mercedes is going. But I'll be honest with you. I'm being 100% honest with you. I don't think it's going to be that massive kind of thing that's going on. I know that the videos show our young people with all these chains on and walking all these labels and stuff like that. I get that. But that is a media front that comes on. And I know that our young people who are living in impoverished areas are beholden to North Face and Timberland and whatever the latest fashion is, and they got to pay the retail price because if you bought it on sale at Marshalls or TJ Maxx, something's wrong with you. Whereas I'm trying to tell you, man, no, man, just, be smart about your cash, about your money. I think there are ways for us to become financially responsible and educated so that we can really start to do those things that I think are necessary in building generational wealth. We need a jump start because it's been on our backs and our ancestors' backs for 400 years. So what I'm asking for is very minimal. I could have said 10 million. I could have said 100 million per. I just said one. But with these things that are added to it so that it gives us a fair chance to step up. Because, Meredith, I dream of the possibilities of the way that light could be shined in places that don't. The black people that live in our major cities, remember we only make up 13% of the population, but we make up majority of the population in major cities.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in impoverished areas. They don't want to eat the kind of foods that are there. They like to be able to afford the things that are. Listen, yes, we all want to shine and look nice, but but how about we just want to be able to be clothed and not have to be wondering whether or not the heat is still going to be on,
Yes.
or if this is a safe neighborhood for us to be in, or if we could open up our own stores and support each other. I don't necessarily trying to tell you I want a Starbucks and a Trader Joe's in everybody's corner, but here's the thing: I would like it so that we be able to support each other. I remember when Stony Island, the way it used to look like when I was a child.
Yes. Yes.
When it was owned by black people who were supporting black businesses.
Yes.
I remember what parts of Hyde Park looked like before it became what it is now.
But that's the point. And you have to remember what you're saying matters and it has a valid existence, but you've also touched on something, which is if you give a person $1 million, $1 million can be spent. If you give a person a land, they own it forever. And if you give it to them tax-free, they own it forever. So they can do whatever they want with it. And if you collaborate enough people with enough space, and let's say you build a business and somebody's got $1 million and they be like, man, you know what I got an idea for? A shoe company. I want to build a shoe company. And so they make a shoe company and they make a shop on that land to do a shoe company. And they can basically hire people and they can find a way to network and do it because that land is owned by the people. People, they will give you money. You know why? Because cash is bullshit. Money is bullshit. It's all a fiction, figment of our imagination. This is why they went from the damn one currency to another currency to another currency in Europe. They can do that, and then it becomes obsolete in certain places. So the
Well,
money in
the
and of
goal.
itself matters not, because if you don't have the backing to it, so you're giving money to people. But my point is, if you give them the land and the land is theirs, and if they say I can do what I want with it, then you can sell it to the next person. And if the next person, like say for example, if you own, let's say, like 5 acres or 40 acres. I own 40 acres. I'd be like, Dan, I don't know what to do with 40 acres. You'd be like, well, I'll buy from you for X, Y, and Z. Then you can literally give me the $500,000 to buy my 40 acres, Dan, and you can have 40 acres, and I can be $50,000 richer, $60,000 richer, and go live my life, and you can have that extra land to do what you want to do. But at the end of the day, giving it to somebody and understanding that there is a purpose with that land matters more than just giving them money and saying, here's some cash, go spend it. It's like the value of having land in the colonizer's mind is everything. Is everything. So if you give that many millions of people land, they ain't trying to hear that shit. They're mad. So this is what I'm asking you for. Get mad, because I want all the land. I want the land for all these people. And this is the plot of land we need. This is the plot of land we want. And
I
they go,
want. I want
wow, you
Michigan.
don't just want money? No, I
I
want
want.
money. I
I
want
want
land.
Michigan Avenue. I want the whole mile.
Yes, I want the whole fucking mile. This is what I want. And then I want to control that aspect. Man, they will fucking shit they pants, because they understand the value of the land. This is why they took over. This is why they colonized. It had nothing to do with money. It had everything to do with the land. This is why they colonized every fucking place. It's the land. It's the land. It's the value in which they can place on the land. This is why neighborhoods change. Gentrification. Think about it. What the fuck is gentrification? Nothing more than colonizers moving from place to place because it fits their needs. So if you say, give me this property, this land, either they can move on it or they can't move on it. And if we live on it, we can control it and do what we need to do with it. Untaxed, and we control it. And shit they can do about it. These are the major moves that you have to make. You have to think bigger. The picture always has to be bigger than what we see. It's always like there's some shit going on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? You see Oz. Oz is like, I am the great and powerful Oz. Ah, and he's smoking fire and his mother, Then when you get behind there, you realize it's just a motherfucker behind a curtain pulling switches. You know, there's a bigger picture, and you have to see the bigger picture behind what they teach you and what they tell you. And the bigger picture in most of the whole world right now, and you understand it, it's a land grab for everybody. Everybody's a land grab. Saddam Hussein wasn't killed because he fucking was a tyrant of a president. He was killed for land.
It's for the land that
You
has the
know,
oil on it.
Muammar Gaddafi wasn't killed. He was killed for land. These motherfuckers know what they're killing people for. It's a land grab. I'm not going to say who's grabbing the land because I don't want to piss people off. But at the end of the day, it's a land grab. And it's always been a land grab. And the same people that's grabbing the land keeps grabbing the land. And this is what you got to understand. If you say you want something for your people, take the land. Take the land.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's the reason why you too near me not to hear me. We bring in different perspectives. We want y'all to understand, hey, whether it's the cash or the land, y'all better start thinking about what's going on, man. Because hey, ain't nobody else gonna give it to you. You better start thinking about what's best. Stop thinking about them Mercedes. Stop thinking about them Jordans. Stop thinking about any of that other stuff. You better start thinking about what's in your bank account, maybe your own bank to make it your own bank account, or what kind of land you sitting on. It's got to be something important, man. And with that being said, my brother Meredith, Mr. Lorenzo, Mr. Emmy, my main man, my mellow. Hey, brother, any last words, bro?
Yeah, man. Just I want people to remember to exist. First and foremost, there's no system that is above humanity. All the systems, would call it Marxism, communism, socialism, democracy, whatever it is, hypocrisy. There's no system above humanity.
humanity comes first. First and foremost is your ability to be a human. And if you can see that and you can feel that, if you have compassion, then that's a start. But remember, humanity comes first. Everything else is just a figment of your imagination. It's all part of smoke and mirrors. It's all parlor tricks. Not politics. It's all parlor tricks.
You heard it here first from a rooftop in somewhere in Hyde Park, Chicago. My main man, Mr. Meredith Turner. Hey, this is your boy Dan Davis, aka Disco, aka Bookem Dano, aka Dan the Man. In the house, baby. Yo, this is how we get down, man, here at YouTube Near Me Not to Hear Me. We'll see y'all again next time soon. Peace.
Peace.